How you doing?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. Um, Spring has arrived in Norway just the last few days, so everybody seems to be happy. It's been a long winter
I can imagine. Uh,
for us. It's been quite cold until recently, so there's still snow nearby here, and we live in the south coast of Norway, which is kind of the most like friendly climate, I guess, but still it
still,
is
still
it
cold.
is far north. So yeah, yeah. So we had a long winter, so everybody's kind of smiling and happy now when it's getting warmer.
I love it. So
Yeah,
you guys have a new album coming out soon, yeah?
yeah. And it will tell you.
Yeah. I mean, I've got the stuff in my email, but I gotta speak for the fans out there. So, uh, what can you tell me about the new album?
We're still in the process uh, it's an ambitious project, and we're not gonna talk publicly too much about the details yet. But we have been working hard oh, for years actually with making a lot of new music.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully within not too long we can tell you more in detail. But we're still working on it. And if you have a really good, if I have a really good microphone on my computer, you could actually maybe hear that there's some music going on in the background. So we're actually working with it now.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
So, but it's a lot of work. It's an ambitious project. It's just, yeah, we came back after 10 years away in
Mm-hmm.
2016 and released an album in 2020, as you probably know. And I guess since then we have been working on this ambitious project that we're going to tell the world about in a few months' time. That's going to be a lot of new music from Green Carnation in the next few years, so I can say that.
Awesome. Uh, how much touring or shows were you able to play during the last album cycle?
We were a bit unlucky, to be honest, because we actually released our first album in 14 years right after COVID. Uh, it was May 2020, and basically we haven't. We weren't able to do what we planned afterwards, but then again, people were staying at home for in the period when we released the albums. I actually think that um, actually that like for people to hear our music and stuff, I don't think COVID was too harmful for us. But we haven't been able. Also, the market has been struggling after COVID. Plus, you know, all the bands are on the way to play live and stuff. So there's like been a really stiff competition, at least in Europe. But we have done a few festivals and a few like selected shows. We did an acoustic tour to celebrate our acoustic versus album in say North Europe in 2022, and also 2022 we did a few shows on tour with the Gathering in their home country, the Netherlands,
Mm-hmm.
which was really nice. And this year we've kind of decided to work on new music instead of playing a lot live. But then the invitation came from Opeth to play with them in Copenhagen next month, and of course we had to accept that. So we're gonna have to rehearse a lot again. Um, but that was just a too good opportunity to turn down. So we're basically gonna do that show this year, plugged, and an acoustic show in our hometown. We're kind of trying to make a tradition in our hometown, playing on a venue downtown in Kristiansand, Norway, which is our hometown. Stein Roger, the bass player, has a beautiful outdoor venue. And last year we played, the season closure show,
Mm-hmm.
because of course in Norway you cannot really play outside most of the year, but in May, June, July, and beginning of September you might. So we did the closing show of the season there last year, which was really nice. And last year we went on the morning after to the Prog Power US in Atlanta to play a couple of shows there. This year we're not going to do that, but we're going to do the acoustic show in our hometown in the beginning of September. So that's basically what we're going to do live this year, if nothing else comes up. But as I said, the focus is to finish the new stuff and to work and finish as much as possible that we can tell you about, hopefully within not too long.
Can't wait to hear it, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool, I hope. Yeah.
I love that Opeth did the invite, because I was going to ask, how did that even come about? But
I'm not completely sure how it came about, but we have a few links to Opeth, but not personal really, because we don't know the guys, but I think there are a few links between us and them, and there's a few people that work with us and work with them, so somebody might have whispered something, I don't know, but to be honest, I don't really know, but I think the initiative came from them, which is like a really nice for us, and yeah, it's right now it's like 1.5 months, yeah, well, a little bit more than 1.5 months, so that's going to be really cool. It's a great venue in Copenhagen, in Denmark, which is our neighbor country. It's a great venue that takes like 15, 16, 1,700 people.
Saw that.
You saw it. Yeah?
I saw that. I love it.
Yeah.
So, over the years, you've had some lineup changes, but not too many, I think. How does how does every change influence what's going on within the band?
Yeah, for me, it's always been like, of course, to part with the members is always like makes. I've kind of tried to see it as a possibility, like an opportunity to bring in something new, something different. And of course, we know that when losing somebody, you'll lose something as well. but yeah, I think it's like a fresh thing that we try to see in a positive way. And of course, we've been going on since early 2000s or around 2000 now, so it's 25 years, except for the pause. And of course, we change as people, and we change as musicians, and we kind of maybe now know a little bit more of it has to work out personally with a new person. Again, we're not going to bring in a machine that's just really good doing something and then not very nice to hang out with, for example. So there's a few non-musical aspects as well.
Yep.
But then again, we wouldn't be bringing in like maybe an 18-year-old in our band, because even though the 18-year-old could be technically brilliant and stuff, but of course you shouldn't like rule out anything. But it's also important that we kind of think we have developed quite well, like quite a lot musically since we for the last 25 years, and personally, of course. And people on our same age has some of the same. Not necessarily influences, but they've been kind of working with music for a while and has like a broader understanding maybe for the music and stuff. So, but when working in the studio now, we actually brought in a very young guy who got some new and fresh ideas that we haven't been working with before. He's like an assistant in the studio, and that's also very fresh for us, because his ideas would probably sometimes at least be something that we wouldn't have thought about. And of course, we're not like adapting all the ideas, but to be in the studio to record music and stuff is also about, you know, you have been working a lot with the pre-productions and everything, and but it's still, you need to keep it fresh, like in the studio, and you should be open for kind of everything. So it's a great process and a great like thing to be able to be creative together, and also sometimes with new people.
Absolutely.
That's a long answer to your question, but yeah.
No, it's all good. I love it. If I came to Norway, where would you suggest for me to go, whether it was for food or culture or music or history?
Yeah.
What would you suggest for me to experience if I went there?
Of course, it would depend on, but you're saying food and culture and like music and stuff. Of course, you have everything in Oslo, the capital, as you would. But I kind of find that like maybe Bergen on the west coast, there's a lot of music history there, not only metal, but all kinds of music, and not even classical music. And that's also very close to like beautiful nature and the fjords and everything. So like you'll get a lot in one trip if you go to Bergen. Also, it's the second biggest city in Norway, so you'll have the kind of, well, for you from the US and from LA originally, you wouldn't have probably the big city feeling in Norway in any cities, but compared to here, like Bergen is still kind of you have this the urban city feeling, and although it's not really huge, it's just like a few 100,000 inhabitants.
Yeah,
but that's big in Norwegian standards. So you do have like you do have the food culture, and I don't know if you know about like the Norwegian music history, but there's a lot of not least the black metal heritage is from the Bergen area. Not only Bergen, but also the small places around Bergen. But like being from the very south of Norway, I would have to say the summers in the south of Norway is like something different that you don't have anywhere else in Norway. We are kind of the place where people from Norway go on summer holidays and stuff, you know, because it's very beautiful here. We have a long coastline, and again the climate is kind of friendly, so you'll have maybe not Florida temperatures, but still maybe more like comfortable temperatures around like 20-25 Celsius, which is like for me the perfect. More than that and I'll be uncomfortable. Less than that could be okay as well, but yeah, in the summers, so we have nice summers here. And I guess talking to people from northern Norway, they would probably suggest northern Norway, because that, like, the nature and the scenery up there is something totally unique for the rest of the world. And of course you have the midnight sun and everything. So there's a lot of, like, Norway is a long country. If you put a stick into Kristiansand, which is in the south coast, and turn the country upside down, the north of Norway would go all the way down to Rome. Wow. So it's like a long country. It's like going through all of Europe, kind of. So you do have like different, climates, and you have different ways of talking, and the dialects in the north is like, they are really different from the south. We are more influenced by Denmark because we're very close to Denmark, and Norway is like traditionally a country where it's been difficult to get from A to B because of all the mountains and stuff. So you have like many different cultures in Norway, because we haven't really had contact with our neighbors that much, say 200 or 300 years ago. Yeah. So you would still find places in Norway where they talk the dialect that maybe missed the development and is kind of the way we normally would talk like 700 or 800 years ago, which is even close to here. There's like this valley that didn't really have any contact with the rest of the world until maybe just 100 or 150 years ago. So their development in many of their cultural things are still kind of ancient, and that's where both me and Stein Auger in Green Carnation and Björn, the guitarist, and lots of the people in Green Carnation has like roots from that area. So that's like a common interest in the band as well.
Awesome. So this is gonna be my last question for you. How does your region and your area influence your sound?
Yeah, sometimes like difficult to explain, because it is like that, and you don't really think about it. But I would say that, like, if you look on it's easier when I look on other bands, like Norwegian bands. It's kind of, you can sometimes hear the common culture, like the Norwegian culture in the music. You could kind of, I think that even with the stuff we're doing now, we do have, even though it's not planned, we do have some, even maybe some folk influences from the area that we're all kind of rooted to. But it's you do it without thinking about it, because it's just natural for us. And I don't think Reincarnation necessarily sound particularly Norwegian or anything, but I think we just sound like us.
Yeah.
And we don't try to sound like anything. It's just like when you asked about bringing new members into the band, and so a band will always be a sum of everyone in the band when it comes to like when it comes to musical taste and musical influences and personal histories and everything. So I just think that, like, Reincarnation does have mainly the same members today as in 2005, although not exactly, but mainly. I think the creative, core of the band is still the same. So that has something to say as well. But yeah, I am not sure if you, listening to a song by Green Carnation, I'm not sure if you could guess that we were from Norway necessarily, but that's also something we don't think too much about.
Yeah, I love it, man. Well, listen, I want to thank you for your time. I appreciate you sitting down with me, and I hope after the new music is out and everything, and sometime in the next couple of years, I hope that you guys can make it over to the US and
we already, like, you don't necessarily need to. I don't know. Are you going to publish this in writing or something, or?
It would go on YouTube, and then I'd make the article on the website and all of that. So.
Yeah, cool. But we have made quite detailed plans until the end of 2026 now, and US is included in that, so great. I could say that.
Awesome. I can't wait. It's been waiting a while to finally catch you guys live, so I can't wait.
No, you have a chance within a couple of years, I think.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Thank you, and can't wait to see you guys, and can't wait to hear the new music.
Cheers. Thank you.
Take care, man.
Bye-bye.